Hi all, welcome back to the channel and to another episode of my complete TV collection on DVD and Blu-ray, or whatever it may be. Another episode of this series. And today we're going to look at Marvel TV and their content. So let's get into it. So welcome back to the channel, everyone, and yes, finally we're gonna step into the realm of Marvel TV and have a look at what stuff I have in my collection that stems from the pantheon of Marvel characters and the like. Now, I will say that this here episode is going to contain a lot of bootleg titles because obviously the Netflix Marvel stuff hasn't been released. And the Disney Marvel stuff hasn't been released. Some of the Netflix has. But you know what I'm saying, a lot of it's going to be bootleg. But why not? So let's start, shall we? And this is in no particular order in the sense of years or anything like that. We'll just work the way through that I have them here. So first up, we have the Netflix show that kicked off the Netflix generation of Marvel TV. And that being for Season 1 of Daredevil, in its original form. We got it originally in this country as an original release, and we have it there with a slipcover. Obviously, what's his name? Cox. What's his name? Who played this? Who played Daredevil? Bloody hell, the name eludes me. I'm not off to a good start. Anyway, so yeah, it was a great show. It was great. It was really good. And obviously, we then got Season 2, Sleepless, and that starred John Bernthal as the Punisher. This introduced us to the Punisher and Elektra in this world. Now, with this stuff, there was a lot of humming and hawing. Is it set within the MCU? Isn't it? It never really was, do you know what I mean? But there's seasons 1 and 2 of Daredevil. Season 3 never actually got a release, but I have it somewhere as a bootleg. But it's not the next one to show. I think we'll come across it as we go on. I don't know why it ain't the next one on in the list. But there we go. We'll carry on as it is. So, seasons 1 and 2 of Daredevil. And when we got Jessica Drew, I looked forward to this when this came. It's a relatively new character within the Marvel realm of Marvel characters. At the time, she was new. She's created by Brian Michael Bendis, and this was a really good season. It's really and David Tennant starred in it as the villain. It was very, very good. Unfortunately, that was the only season of that we got released originally. I then had to step into the realm of bootleg for Season 2 and also for Season 3. Yeah, it lasted 3 seasons. Well, that's Season 3, that's Season 2. So Season 2 and Season 3, like so. Quality was varying, like as story-wise, after Season 1, but, you know. And then Mike Coulter starred as Luke Cage, and he was really good as Luke Cage. Really, really good. This series only lasted the 2 seasons, and Season 2, again, I had to bootleg because no official release. And this is annoying when this happens, and this is the sort of thing that forced me towards the bootleg option. Then we got one of the weakest shows, and that being Iron Fist. Again, this lasted 2 seasons though. We only got Season 1 as a physical release, and Season 2, ultimately, I had to go the bootleg route with. But yes, probably the weakest of the Marvel TV shows. And another that went a bit underwhelming, which came before that chronologically, and that was The Defenders. which was the team-up show of all 4 of those series. Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones and Iron Fist. Sigourney Weaver starred in this as well. It was 8 episodes long. And again, bootlegged. So many bootlegs in this, but there we go. And then obviously my favourite Marvel character, the Punisher. Not my favourite iteration of the Punisher. 2 seasons it lasted. Again, bootlegged. I like how all these bootlegs do have, you know, they do at least all match with these sort of, you know, the way they're done, front and back. That's Daredevil, that's Defenders and Punisher there, look. So they do all match in that sense. The Punisher series for me, sorry. Not the Punisher that I know, not the Punisher that I want him to be. Too much of a bruiser. I know people love the Punisher and they think that that is the best iteration of it. It's not. For someone who's read the Punisher since it first came about, it's not the best iteration of the Punisher. I know that that is all subjective anyway, but it's not. He's too much of a bruiser. And this series here, I liked him in Daredevil. Not too much his own series. It's kind of like they never put him into the role of the Punisher. It's kind of like each season was a lead up to him becoming the Punisher, and then he never really became it. And also I didn't like the origin story because it became a revenge story. The whole first season was about him getting revenge on the people that had put him in this situation anyway and killed his family, and that's not what the Punisher is. The Punisher was never a revenge story in that sense, because he never knew exactly who it was, the individuals that killed his family, because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it was a freak occurrence. And not knowing is what drives his war on crime. That not knowing that if he's ever done enough to get those people is what drives him on, his driving force. So for them to do a story where, well, actually these people have set you up and put you in this situation, you know who it is and you're going to go after them, is not the Punisher. But there we go. And then we're going to go to a bit of animation here now. Marvel animation. We have Hitmonkey. Hitmonkey is actually a Marvel character. Again, a relatively new Marvel character. And when I say new, probably the past 15 years. 10 to 15 years. And what can I say? It was silly fun. Yeah, it is, you know, for all the characters in Marvel to get a show, animated show, Hitmonkey did. But, you know, it was violent. It was fun. And another one, a shame it didn't get a season 2. And that is MODOK. MODOK with an M. Yeah, this was funny. It feels like one of those sort of, you know, the ones who do Star Wars, the Star Wars jokey ones and all that. Robot Chicken. It feels like Robot Chicken. It's that sort of stop motion animation. But it was very funny. It was very good. Yeah. But again, these are bootlegs. But I can't fault MODOK. MODOK's fantastic. Let's move on a bit. Okay, in the next pile, Agent Phil Coulson, who got killed in the Avengers. Obviously, he came back in the series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. These got 2 sort of releases when they came out. One's like this and one's in the thick boxes. I opted for this kind of a release because slim on the shelf, less space, all that sort of thing. And that's season 1. Not a very good season. Certainly poor enough to warrant a cancellation, but it never got cancelled. And then we got season 2. Again, not a fantastic season of the show, you know, but there we go. But remarkably, the show lasted 7 seasons and the quality improved. When we got to season 3 and into season 4, it became a show really worth watching. It sort of jettisoned the having to keep up with the films and the films' narratives to doing its own thing and not giving a toss about what the films were doing, which worked better in the show's favour. Yeah. And we have season 4 that introduced Ghost Rider into the MCU. Robbie Ray's version of the Ghost Rider. That's the Ghost Rider with the car, the newest iteration of the Ghost Rider within the Marvel Comics. It wasn't Johnny Blaze nor Danny Ketch, which are the two motorbike Ghost Riders, but Robbie Ray's, yeah. Fantastic. And he was really good. He was really well done in it. And then we have Still Sealed this one. Complete 5th season. And at this point, the show actually ends. It came to a logical conclusion point. Only the show didn't end. It went for another 2 seasons. But this wrapped everything up in a nice bow in case it didn't continue. And it would have been a perfect send-off for the show. It was really good. However, yes, we did get a season 6 and 7. They never got a physical release. Apparently they did in Japan, and very expensive, but I'm not going down that route. So obviously I went down the bootleg route for them. And we have season 6 there. Then we have season 7 there. Again, nice matching. How the pirates are done, or the bootlegs, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, that's good. Season 6 and 7. And then we have spin-off from that and bringing back Hayley Atwell as Agent Peggy Carter. This is the Australian release. I actually have this twice because I got the Australian one and I got the UK one because I was so enamoured by Hayley Atwell. I was so enamoured by this character that I had to get them a few times because of different art. But there we go. This, like I said, this season lasted, they're both season 1s, but it lasted 2 seasons. There's season 2 there. About 10 episodes a season. Unfortunately, it got cancelled on a cliffhanger, which is out of order, really bad. Such a shame. I'd really love them to bring that back and do something with it on Disney Plus, even if it was just a short, 45-minute short, or a film, 90-minute film, or a mini-series, whatever, something to finish it off. And you could probably mix that in with a Captain Carter TV show. You could probably do the two somehow, amalgamate the two into one. But will we ever get that? I don't know. Now, some of this MCU stuff, you know, like the Netflix and that, did get steelbooks. They did actually get steelbooks. Me personally, I got the steelbooks for season 1 and 2, yes, of Agent Carter, like so. But yeah, it was a decent series. Series 2 went a little bit too woke for my liking, I'll be honest. But there we go. Now, moving on to, this is all bootlegs now. These are all bootlegs, and these are, this is the Netflix era of, not Netflix, the Disney era of stuff that we are now venturing into. So first up, obviously, we have the TV series of WandaVision, the one that kicked it all off. I enjoyed WandaVision as much as the next person did. It was event TV. It kept you guessing as to what was going on. Do you remember all the Mephisto stuff? All the Mephisto rumours? Jesus Christ. But not only do I have that, I actually have a fan edit of WandaVision. And it's all done as a film, all in one. It rejigs some stuff. So you don't have the episodes at the beginning where she's in different TV series, and some of that stuff is actually ejected for the narrative. And I've watched it once. I was curious as to what it was like. I think watching it as a film is great if you haven't seen this, but watching it, I know that there's stuff that's ejected. It doesn't really matter to the larger narrative, but knowing that there's edits made to it in the form of stuff of them in episodes kind of makes me feel like I am missing out. But it was a very well done fan edit. I can't knock that. Then next up, Loki. Obviously season 2 is fast approaching. Tom Hiddleston's Loki with Owen Wilson. That was good. And obviously we were introduced to Kang the Conqueror, or a version of Kang in that. And then one that I did really enjoy was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I know a lot of people didn't, but I like these characters a lot. I like the Captain America part of the MCU. So for me, this was a winner. You know, it was a great series. I loved it. And obviously we were introduced to the new Cap as well, played by Kurt Russell's son. And after that, the minute they mentioned that Haley Steinfeld was being cast as Kate Bishop, when the rumour mill started that it could possibly be her, my fingers were crossed that it was, and she did get the role. Fantastic, because she is such a fantastic actress. No one better to play Kate Bishop than her. Jeremy Renner in this. I love this series. It's probably my favourite Marvel series, I'll be honest with you. My favourite Marvel show. Reason being, I like where Jeremy Renner's character is at. I like the fact that he's suffering. It shows the effects of what he's been through physically, mentally. He's lost his hearing because of the stuff he's been through. It's nice to have that because he is the human centre of the Avengers. He is a normal man, just with skills. And to keep up with the other Avengers and do what they've done, it's nice to see the effects, negative effects on a normal person and how he's coping with that, and sort of PTSD he's suffering after it as well. And I just really enjoyed it. And obviously Florence Pugh was back as Black Widow, as you know, Natasha's sister again. Very, very good. Very good. Then we have the animated series Marvel's What If. Now, I was a big fan of the Marvel's... And tortoises knocking things down, lightsabers. A big fan of the Marvel What If TV show. I've lost my train of thought because there's a bloody tortoise. Big fan of Marvel's What If comic book series from back in the day. I loved What If, the original runs of What If. Not that I read every issue, only the ones that really intrigued me to do with a character I was interested in. So the minute they'd done a What If TV series based around the events of the films, I was on board with it. And I think this wholly went unwatched by a lot of people just because it's animation and people have a tendency to reject animation because it's not real people, but obviously voiced people, and they got proper actors to voice parts, not all of the parts, but it was very, very good. And then we have Moon Knight, which to be honest I think is overrated. I didn't think this was the best Marvel show, and a lot of people loved it. It was great seeing Moon Knight on screen though. I think the uniform looked great. I think there's a lot to be done with the character certainly, and in the different, you know, different versions of himself in his mind and all this. However, it felt very lackluster in that there was no characters around him to assist in his moving his story forward. I think it lacked in that sense. And then we had a series of shorts of I Am Groot, animated shorts of Groot. Animated as in computer animated, like he is in the film, doing what Groot does, little silly little things, and it's probably about 15 minutes in length altogether, and that's it. But yeah, I did bootleg that as well because the comic book fan that I am. Probably one of those things that will be removed from Disney Plus at any time. And then we have here, and this is the only Marvel series I've never got to the end of, Ms. Marvel. I've never completed this series, just never ever. I've seen the last scene, obviously I watched the last scene, where Captain Marvel sort of swaps places with her, but it's the one Marvel series I just never got to finish. But I got it because a completist in that sense. And then another show that a lot of people just disliked completely, and that is She-Hulk. She-Hulk, yeah. I didn't mind it. I thought that, number one, it was a good on-screen representation of the comic book and what they do in the comic book, because the comic book is silly like what that TV show is, with these lesser B-type characters in this sort of a thing, and I think that the TV show captured that nicely. I think that they didn't have faith in the character of She-Hulk, hence why almost every episode is propped up by a guest star of some sort or another. I think that is unfortunate and did go a long way to sort of detract from the show. And yeah, Marvel just they lack the faith of that character completely. And then we have a couple of shorts, and we had Werewolf by Night. Fantastic this series was. It was in black and white, or this episode, and we actually got a Marvel version of the Man-Thing. There was a film done of the Man-Thing back in the day, but this here, yeah, it was just really good. And it introduced the Bloodstone and this sort of a thing. I'd love to see more of Werewolf by Night and Man-Thing. It's fantastic. I hope these things aren't forgotten about. And then, obviously, we had the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, which starred Kevin Bacon as a special guest star, which made perfect sense in the narrative of the episode. And, you know, Peter Quill's love for Kevin Bacon. It was a lot of fun. It was really good. It was great because it was more Drax-centric and Mantis, and it gave Mantis a lot of character development that she's only been in one film prior to this, so it went a long way to building her character up before the coming of the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Yes, brilliant stuff. I really enjoyed that. So, as I mentioned, Daredevil season 3 was missing. However, I've just come across it. It was put back in a different section for some unknown reason. So, yes, that's the complete Daredevil. The other two's were original. This was bootleg. Keeping with that, next to these are bootleg as well. But there we go. We've got the Inhumans. Yes, Marvel's failure of a TV show. They tried to put the pilot episode out in, I think, IMAX, possibly. And boy, was it slated. And rightly so. Yeah, not a good show. Anson Mount, obviously, who's captain in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, obviously, and did come back as Black Bolt in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So that was good to see. It was good to see the connection, at least. Then we have a bootleg series of a recent animated show, and that is the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm showing you them in the wrong order. So there's season 1. Like so. And again, matching the aesthetic of those other bootlegs that I showed previous. Then we have season 2. And I haven't watched these. These were actually sent to me for free from the fella I get my bootlegs off of. Really good job on them. 2 discs in each. Fantastic. Yes, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Going back in time a bit, these are bootlegs, but they did get a DVD release. Only the DVD release is currently out of print. Goes for quite a bit of money, and unlikely to be any other release of them made. And that is for 1990s Spider-Man series. You know the one. It was a fantastic show. And again, with that same aesthetic of disc art and that. They all match at the side, see? Season 3, Goblin on it. So who did we have? We have Venom on season 1, Wolverine on season 2, Goblin on season 3. Season 4 is Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat. And season 5 has Spider-Man with Dr. Doom, Victor Von Doom. So fantastic. And these are really good cartoons from that era, you know. The show then ended, but sort of spun off, came back for one season in the form of Spider-Man Unlimited. More akin to the clone Ben Reilly look of Spider-Man there. Spider-Man Unlimited. So that's a nice one to have in the collection as well. Back to some originals. Now we are keeping within the realm of animation here for the last pile of stuff for this video here. And still sticking with the 90s. Who can't remember growing up with the X-Men animated series? This is the complete set of X-Men on DVD. It's a fantastic show. And obviously it is coming back. X-Men 87, or is it 97? X-Men 97 on Disney at some point in the near future. A revival of sorts of that series. That'll have to be bootlegged. And then we have, and I really enjoyed this one at the time, the Hulk. Lasted 3 seasons. We started off with the Incredible Hulk, season 1, Incredible Hulk season 2, and then it got renamed for season 3 as the Incredible Hulk and She-Hulk. The series lasted only 21 episodes, but then it did have a revival in the form of Hulk and the Agents of Smash, which is actually one that I'm probably going to have to look at bootlegging at some point in the near future. And then we have another one, only lasted 1 season, and you can get this pretty cheap. Complete series, Iron Man, animated series from around that era. Superb. And then we have, again, this lasted only 26, 2 seasons, I believe. Yes, and it lasted 26 episodes, and it is the Fantastic Four. It's still sealed. Fantastic Four animated series, again from that era. Marvel knew how to do animation in that era. They don't really know now. They lost it, and then continuation of season 1, and then followed up by episodes 14 to 26, which is the complete season 2 of the Fantastic Four. There's Black Bolt there, who we mentioned earlier. Superb stuff, and I'm sweating up here. I'm sweating. Only 2 more to go, and we'll call this one a day. And then we have 13 episode series, Silver Surfer DVD. Now this is actually very hard to get a hold of. This DVD, if you can get a hold of this, you're in luck. If you come across it in a charity shop or a car boot sale, it's worth a considerable amount of money. It is out of print. I think the last time I looked, it was about 50 quid or something in that sort of a range. Luckily enough, I've got a copy here that is still, you know, as fresh as the day it came out, still in its silver box, and inside it does have its book as well. So that's what you want to be looking for if you can come across this. You'll be a very lucky individual, because obviously being Disney, this stuff isn't getting a release again. And then last but certainly not least, the animated show, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, The Avengers, the complete series. This was really good as well, in that it was so interconnected. There was so much continuity between episodes. I mean, when I even introduced it, when it came about, and on here it's done in volumes and this sort of a thing, because they're almost like little films in a sense. And, you know, the Avengers assemble, and it weren't until a few episodes in that Captain America came about, when they found him in the ice. And, you know, and it went on to have things like Secret Invasion and Battle for the Secret Invasion, Holding Back the Storm, Thor's Last Stand, Iron Man Unleashed. You know, there's a lot of good stuff in here. A lot of good. Ultron makes an appearance. Ultron Unlimited. Yeah, it lasted 52 episodes. It's well worth a watch. So there we go. There's Marvel TV at an end. All that stuff is Marvel related television fare. Yeah. What more can I say? It's another episode wrapped of this. It's coming to an end soon. It will be coming to an end. I can't do TV much longer. Maybe 1 or 2 more episodes, I'd say. Wow. And then I've got to find something else to fill this time, this void. But there we go. So, again, comments down below. Please leave your thoughts, your likes, your dislikes, whatever you want. Hit the subscribe button, come join the channel. Hit the notification bell, because in 2 weeks' time, I will be back with another episode of my complete TV on DVD and Blu-ray. And I shall see you then. Take care all, and goodbye.